talk about get flow, tagging, etc. So I created some files. Let's see. Lordy. We gotta stop. So here we go. We are in my GitHub. I have classically had this CLI function, and mostly it calls the EDS. It is all about calling this EDS client, which is cool, but I also have other clients now. We have a few. We have EDS, we have Mission, we have RJN, and all that stuff sets up in workspaces, and I have this EDS to RJN daemon that runs in my task schedule. It's actually not on this computer, it's on a different computer. So I want to simplify that build. Right now, okay, that's a problem. So right now this is running 0.3.2, and every time you run it, it auto installs, and the biggest thing here is to trend. So you'd say EDS trend in 100 FI, and I want it for the last 9 days. Great, super good. One CLI command, give me some stuff. I need a way to pull from other clients. Say, hey, I want data from here, and so I could. So I've got. This is actually the pipeline EDS command. It's the same thing. What I think would be smart if we had some other commands, but like the pipeline help command. Right now, it's just the same as the EDS command. They are redundant aliases. What would be better? Oh boy. What would be better is if we had a pipeline help command that was for all three, and then we had a pipeline mission command, a pipeline transmit command to set up the daemon, and so you could say like sender receiver RJN JSON. You'd have some payload that would describe it, but if you didn't supply it, then it would build the bones. Oh, you definitely need to say like channel 1 or something, and you can set all that stuff up. Transmit, and then RJN. Mission. Good stuff. So we want to build kind of this whole suite of tools for calling each one individually and getting data from it, and then for transmitting between them. And we have that. We're just trying to build the bones out. I really started this release, the current one. We're on 0.5.3 now. The one installed is 0.5.2. We wanted to block automatic installation of the CLI, so I'll show you where that's happening. Yeah. So before, these falses weren't here, and so this was saying for every single run of the CLI, go ahead and run setup termux install, and if it's a Windows machine, set up Windows install. So a termux that adds items to the widget. I was troubleshooting the widgets yesterday, the widget entries. I was trying to rename them, and you could rename the file to something like shorter, and you could add, whatever you wanted to it for testing, but then every time it would still regenerate the original file name, so checking it to see that it wasn't there. And so it's kind of annoying, kind of invasive. I have an install command, which people can say, EDS. EDS is the name of one of our sources. That's our in-house. Yeah, so this is saying like it already ran the install because you ran EDS. So it's a bit too invasive. I need to just make it manual. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Someone can run another command. Before I was just really excited to get on other people's systems and install immediately, but it's like, just let them ask, man. Cool. So that is a major change for 0.3.53. It's not breaking. It's no big deal. And while I was doing that, I was also going and implementing these other. So I wanted to just talk about coming soon. Go ahead and put the bones here. Also on Termux, the installation is tough. So we got rid of NumPy. I know a lot of people will say that's not a good engineering choice because NumPy is much faster, but we were doing something pretty minimal with it. It was just in yeah. So before we were just trying to get unit shared units. So if I say something like EDS FI 8001 West. There's some of these that have redundant units. Yeah, so you'll see MGD is used for, let's see here. Yeah, MGD is used for FI 8001 and M100 FI, but it only shows up once as an axis. And so that's assessed here. It says for each axis, just assess the actual max min for shared units. There's some other stuff where NumPy is used, but it's not like it's used really redundantly. Each of these functions is called once, and so like mathematically it's not a lot of overhead. I understand if you've got thousands of rows or thousands of entries, like by all means use NumPy, but for us it's just not worth it, especially because we're doing so much testing and inevitable rollout on Termux. Just a weird workaround, and it's just not safe for us right now, so we cut it out. Yeah, Plotly's cool. We could talk about that. I'm not going to right now. So that's the change that was made in this release. What else? And then we wanted to go and put these bones in here just while I was thinking of it. So we've got issue 44. Take me there, computer. I just made this note this morning. I said, look, this would be really cool if we could do something like that, which would infer that the EDS command would need to be migrated into a CLI folder, and that you'd have a pipeline EDS command that was specific, which makes sense. And you kind of have like an overarching pipeline function. So I need to work on pipeline mission. I need to add something to our current daemon. So we've got two third parties, mission and RJN, and we've got our in-house REST API, which calls our Ovation system EDS. So we have three sources that we can get data from, and then I have daemons that are getting data from the EDS and sending to the RJN. I also need to be getting data from mission, sending it to RJN. So the bones are all there to receive data for each one and to transmit data. Well, actually, the bones are only there to transmit to RJN right now. Or there's no landing for EDS, and there's no landing for mission. That's okay. It's not built for that right now. We can work on it, but it's kind of inferred that all that exists, but it's all just in these clients. Chaka, chaka, chaka. Thing to do. So with RJN client, data to RJN, ping, and there's a demo function. And this uses our old plain text, which we are getting rid of that in favor of cryptography. Yes, that's outdated. So here's our ES client. Let's go look at the demo. I did not really intend to talk about this. Well, yeah, we don't need to talk about it right now. Security config, let me show you. Yeah, here we go. Get EDS API. Yeah, so this uses not the external, or the plain text. This uses the Windows credential manager. There's my Windows credentials. Yep, this stuff here. It gets stashed up in here. You can see there's some old testing stuff. But it gets placed here, which is secure, managed by the operating system and not by me, which is better. What are we talking about? We're talking about this release. Let's keep talking about this release. I really wanted to talk about GitFlow. Right. Oh yeah. So we just went through this thing and went ahead and committed blocking the installation, and I added my changelog entry. Kept typing git add wrong. So embarrassing. And then was like, well, let's go ahead and add these bones for how we're going to do the new transmission. So we went ahead and just put in these placeholders. I said, hey, my first goal is CLI mission. Let's get that going, and then we'll migrate the CLI.py to the CLI-eds. We'll worry about that later once we get this going, and we can use it to test the mission system. And I need to set up the daemon for the mission system. Right now we've only focused on the daemon for RJN. And that stuff is, we're going to migrate it. It's been in, like I said earlier, workspaces, EDS to RJN, scripts, daemon runner. And this explicitly says, like, hey, call one, send it to the other. And it's kind of, I don't know, specific. So how can we make it less specific, more configurable in a way that can be called from a CLI, quickly set up, and worst case scenario, just says, hey, copy this line into your Windows Task Manager, or can build it itself as long as it can call the registry or whatnot. So that's where we're headed. We want to have that grand vision for the future. And so we went ahead and just built those empty CLIs. They're there. Yeah. talking about, hey, we want to be able to make GUI calls, not just CLI calls, so that would infer these CLI stuff just call CLI stuff, but they don't have the modular functions in them. So where do the modular functions go? Well, don't build them yet. Just build the CLI commands and, think about how you're going to back stuff out later. Or stick stuff in the clients. That's cool. Call the clients for the generalized commands. Totally chill. Just keep it modular. Keep it, progressing. We don't want to over-engineer this thing. So then, all right, we committed, we pushed, checked out main, merged dev, pushed, check out dev, and we're tagging. Okay, cool, great. Finish, push, release, boom. 0.5.3, and then that jump on that push actually did not go to PyPI. It's there now, but that's because immediately after we ran build and twine. What would be better is on GitHub release if this called a GitHub workflow and then automated a workflow that would push the release to PyPI. And so we already have in another project in PyHabitat, we already have a workflow that does just that. So you don't have to do poetry build and twine upload manually. And so we went ahead and we copied this same workflow over to pipeline. And we need to make sure that it is that it is generic. So this thing needs to say habitat. Yep, right there. Okay. So we need to get rid of that. Yeah, so in this file, it says PyHabitat debug. So this isn't complete. I've called pipeline-eds help plenty of times and missed a lot of stuff, but it did build, so it's better than nothing. So before we push this, let's go ahead and it's got publish now in it. Habitat. We don't have tests because we're foolish. Let's make sure there's no artifacts. Looks like that's all PyHabitat stuff that's actually a part of this, so that's good. Okay, cool. So we added that, and because that's there, I'm going to go ahead and just make another release. Very simple. So I made one change. So I'm going to go through. I added it to the changelog already. Close that. Close that. Close that. Close that. Changelog. Oh, let's do it now. Here we go. So we'll say 4. Changed. That's probably a fine way to do that. Cool. Great. Cool. Great. Great. Okay. So we have go take this. Let's go ahead and test to make sure everything is solid. Oh, this is going to fail because it's wrong. It's right now. Great. Push. The problem with GitFlow, you should not be pushing to a branch called dev. I do everything on dev. Do I recommend that? No. Because my GitFlow is just okay. Could be better. Always check out the branch you came from again. Or, just don't stay on main. Alright, so we're going to get, okay. Alright, so now this thing should actually run when we say get, well, no, okay. Alright, we push the tag. So now Git knows about the tag. It's tracked the tag, but we need to release it. So what is releasing it? Graph new release. So I can come in here and I can select the recently made tag that's available, and I can type stuff in, generate release notes. I can do all that. I can just hit push release. That would push into PyPI if the GitHub workflow is there, which would skip poetry build and twine, the twine call. Instead of doing that, I can just say GitHub release. So now this should automatically build to PyPI, and we should be able to watch it happen. So let's say we go to pipeline, we go to actions. Cool. So that's up to main. This is old. I removed this from release.yaml. That's gone. That's outdated. I didn't like it. It wasn't very good. We migrated it. But so here you can see we're on 0.3.53. Cool, it did it. Alright, so it should be building right now. There it is. It's queued. Okay, it looks like it worked because it's deploying to PyPI. Oh, it has not yet deployed to PyPI. Yeah, here we go. It publishes once it's built. So make sure everything runs. Good, it showed that it ran. That's pretty cool. Great, looks like it completed. Awesome sauce. So this run, just to show you, is WorkFlows, publish. This is what it looks like. And just to be very clear, right now we are in our root directory. Publishing exchange. Oh, this was another action. Huh. No, publisher. Oh, I know why. Because we haven't done it yet in this repository. So here, if you go into your, I'm not going to do this on screen, but there are, yeah, it's fine. Cool. Manage project. So let me show you. Well, manage project. Let me see if I can find this quickly. Publishing. Yeah, so we have this workflow here. There we go. So we need to set this up. Publish. Memphis. Settings. I think it's actions, or is it environments? I can't remember. Releases. I don't recall. You know, I have this set up on, well, let's look at. It should be down here, yeah. Deployments. This is what's failing. Manage environments, there we go. There's a problem in here somewhere. Environment, let's see. Well, anyway, once I get this set up, and it works currently in PyHabitat, and it's got PyPI deployment. Don't know why those other ones are failing, but it's good that they did if the build is bad. Manage environments, one protection rule. Administrators to bypass protection rules. Here we go. Deployment branches and tags. looks the same to me. Let's try it again. It won't let me do the release again, though. But anyhow, so this is a YAML file with a workflow, and it runs through, and it does all these things. So I'm going to work on this in a second, but just to get it to run for now with the current, I'm not sure if it'll run. Let's try it. Probably won't create the release again, because yeah, release tag already exists. What I could do, let's see. We could try to recycle this thing without creating a new release. Can't see. Just embed it. Delete it. Now it should be allowed to rerun. No, but the tag name already exists. We'll see how it goes. Oh, it worked. That's good. Okay, so now it's running the action again. Okay, so it says that happened. That's cool. Hey, there we go. Nice. Which should mean hey, there it is. Great. That worked. So now we shouldn't have to run poetry build or twine anymore. There should be managers automatically. Wonderful. That's very exciting. So if I was me and you were you, what could be cool is a way to get GitHub release. I need one on Termux. No, I don't know if I do. No, it doesn't call poetry, it calls PyProject-build. Anyways, point being, let's say what's next? What's next? Yes. Upgrade. 36 minutes into this thing. Great. We're on 0.3.53 now. So with 0.3.52, it was doing automatic installation. Now it should not. It did not. Good. Hooray. See, that's really flat. See that dose. Let's hide it. Yeah, so here's our plan for the last 2 days. Really excited about our recent implementation of the days command. Actually, is it the last 2 days? It is. It defaults to 2 days. Yeah, defaulting to 2 days. But now you can provide days, and let's say I want to see 45 days. Got it. So that's our wet well, our dose, and our influent and effluent. I need to default to dark mode. What would be cool is if you could turn off whole axes. Just say, hey, I want to turn off everything on a certain axis. That's not really we'll get there. You can turn off whole, what's our wet well in inches. So yeah, this is what's happening at TE Max and Wastewater Treatment Facility for the last, what is this, 45 days since September 7th? Welcome to the show, my friends. Welcome to the show. Alright, cool. Well, so now we got to build the mission client. We're getting data from mission, and the goal is to get that in the daemon. So right now the daemon is only transmitting data from the EDS to the RJN. So we need to get oh yeah, that's funny. Well, help. It didn't do anything, it just ran. Yes, this one got some data from our mission client just for the demo function that's down there. Let's see, does this have... This would be a useful use case for good old cat poetry. Yeah, that's a classic. Because you already have this thing all written out in this format with these dots, and it's so annoying to have to go back and say like cat src pipeline, type it in just to see it. You don't want to do that manually, and so we have a script to do that for you. And you too can be poetry or LS poetry, where you don't have to change the line. You're just here, and you want to know what's in the API folder. Great, easy, very easy. We love it. Cool. So thanks for watching. This was supposed to be a short video about Github, but we talked for 45 minutes about the overarching status of the EDS project, or pipeline-eds, or just the pipeline project, because EDS is just one client. I mean, that's our client, but we want to get others and the data from one. We want demons. We're getting there, and we want it all to run on your phone. Welcome to pipeline-eds 4.3.54. You can get it on PyPI. You can build your own clients. Yeah, I'm not sure why you would download this, but you could. Mostly this is for rollout for my coworkers, but